greatest champions the world has ever seen. All who witness their power fear them. All who try to stop them fail. Now, at last, they will face each other in the fight of the century, in the showdown of the millennium.
Miss me?
Freddy versus Jason.
Exactly 1 month prior to the film's theatrical release, they brought Freddy and Jason to Bally's Las Vegas for the coolest pre-fight weigh-in of all time.
Freddy versus Jason versus Jason.
Movie fans and fight fans of all ages, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, to my right, with over 1,000 career kills, he's come back to life 7 times. Hailing from Elm Street, the man with the killer right hand, the Springwood slasher, Freddy Krueger. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to my left, his opponent. Over 1,200 kills, 10 times resurrected, and he's got one mean machete. Ladies and gentlemen, from Camp Crystal Lake, introducing the Tower of Power, Jason Voorhees. Gentlemen, please, at this time, we would like to have the weigh-in. Could you please step backstage here behind it? Mr. Krueger, Mr. Voorhees, please. Back here, please.
You're slow, you're stupid, and you're all washed up.
Freddy Krueger, 174 3/4 pounds. Freddy Krueger. Jason Voorhees, 275 pounds.
Jason, there's been a great deal of controversy about your training methods. How do you respond to that?
No comment.
What's the matter? Can't you speak for yourself, hockey puck?
Senor Freddy, what do you anticipate will be your most difficult challenge in fighting Jason?
Waiting to see if this Goldie here can find a ring.
Freddy,
Whatty?
do you feel your ability to speak and thus talk trash gives you a distinct advantage in intimidating Jason before your big fight?
I don't need no stinking distinct advantage. If Mama's boy here, he's big, he's dumb, he's slow, he's stupid, and he ain't got no style. Place your bets, people. See you in the ring, Voorhees.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Those are the official odds. Jason is a 2-3 favorite over Freddy, who is 7-5 as an underdog. Security, please. Ladies and gentlemen, the press conference, I believe, is over at this time. We thank you for coming to Bally's Las Vegas. Don't forget, it's going to be the rumble between Freddy versus Jason. August 15th. We'll see you then, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Freddy versus Jason.
Place your bets.
Welcome to my world, bitch.
Freddy vs. Jason is a 2003 American slasher film directed by Ronnie Yu, with Robert Englund reprising his role of Freddy Krueger and the role of Jason going to Canadian stuntman Ken Kersinger. It is a crossover between a Nightmare on Elm Street franchise and the Friday the 13th franchise, being the 8th installment in the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise and the 11th in the Friday the 13th franchise. Freddy vs. Jason was released in the United States on August 15th, 2003. The film received mixed reviews from critics, but grossed $116 million worldwide, making it the highest-grossing film in both franchises.
Action! Penny for your thoughts, Chief.
Robert Englund here, aka Freddy Krueger. We're here on the set of Freddy vs. Jason. Notice who gets top billing.
I played Jason Voorhees, and Jason's just sort of a little misguided. He lost his mom early. He's just, been living out in the woods and under the lake for, by himself, no guidance, and he's just sort of following a mandate, kill all those bad kids. Different and cool about it is that it is Freddy versus Jason. It's the first time they've been paired together, and they each have their own fan following, so there's been a lot of anticipation over this.
I think what's scary about Freddy, I think it's the violation of privacy. Not only does he know your most private thoughts, and he can exploit them, he's in your bedroom. He's under your bed. He's looking in that mirror when you brush your teeth, he's in that private, sacred place. And he's invading that.
What's the matter, Laurie? Miss your wake-up call?
Jason is obviously much bigger, much stronger than Freddy. Freddy is much smarter than Jason and has a whole world unto himself where he's sort of Lord and God. He uses that to manipulate Jason and to take advantage of Jason, but ultimately, Jason relies on his strength to try and overcome Freddy.
Freddy needs to install fear into his potential victims, the children, the relatives, the offspring of the original vigilante parents that burned him.
Ronnie Yu directs the film, and he does a really amazing job at it.
Yeah!
I remember one of the first times I was on set, I was nervous. Of course, it's my first movie, and I was terrified, and he made me feel very comfortable.
Ronnie he has a strange popular culture sensibility. He just sees his stories that way.
Ronnie just brings a wonderful imagination to this movie. He's taking Freddy and Jason to a new level.
The makeup is, the technology has improved and changed since the last time I did Freddy.
We've had probably about 72 different gags and makeups to build in the past 8 weeks. The crew here in the shop is 31 people in the shop and another dozen people on set to help apply the makeups. Freddy's makeup, we're using foam latex, which has been the norm for many, many years. Same with Jason's makeup, that also is foam latex. All of our bodies are made out of silicone. The beauty of the silicone is that it resembles skin that much more than foam latex. It's translucent, so the camera will want to travel into the
Welcome to my nightmare.
Two of the biggest names in horror are about to do battle.
Jason's fighting Freddy. That is unbelievable.
Lots of blood, lots of fears, lots of screams.
Jason is indiscriminate. He's just like a big, dumb shark. He's just out there killing. And Freddy has some finesse. He wants to kind of enjoy it and kind of do these strange little nightmare constructs with his victim.
I think my 8-year-old self would be really proud of me that I'm finally kicking the crap out of these guys.
People on set always scare me. I was the scaredy cat on the set.
Join us as we go behind the scenes of Freddy versus Jason.
The big guy's going down, I swear. Place your bets now. Oh, hi. Welcome to E's behind the scenes of Freddy vs. Jason. With 17 films and over 150 victims in the body count, two of horror history's most prolific killers finally get it on. See how it took over 20 years to get these two guys to meet.
Why won't you die?
We're here on the set of Freddy versus Jason. Notice who gets top billing for the 8th installment of a great Nightmare on Elm Street film. And this time I'm meeting my match with Jason Voorhees.
Jason's fighting Freddy. That is unbelievable. It's like these two giants of the horror movie world going head to head.
And I think people just love the fact that they're two of the worst villains in horror history ever. And the fact that they're gonna square off and they're gonna fight just totally intrigues people and they want to see it.
Come on.
Freddy and Jason are pop horror icons. They've been around our culture for almost 20 years, and each of them has become a symbol of all those things that collectively we as teenagers and then as adults are afraid of. So that they are the sum total of our current pop boogeymen.
Before, I think New Line even got the idea. This sort of originated with the fans. I remember people coming up to me back in '84 and going, excuse me, Mr. England, sir, dude, do you think you could kick Jason's ass?
Penny for your thoughts, Chief.
There's this great idea that in some kind of hellish purgatory, an impotent, weak Freddy, a Freddy that's been rendered weak over the last 7 sequels by the strong women warriors who continue, and his daughter who continue to diminish his powers.
Freddy lives on fear, so if people don't know about him, they can't fear him, therefore they can't be hurt by him.
Freddy in hell find a good partner, which is Jason. And then he used tricks to trick Jason to come back to Elm Street and start killing people and create fear. The more fear he creates, the more powerful Freddy becomes. And so Freddy can come back into this world and start creating fear.
So I use Jason, who inhabits the real world, to begin a reign of terror so that everybody, can get that their fear festering again so that I can exploit it later.
Freddy basically brings Jason back from the dead to start killing people, and everybody in the town assumes that it's Freddy, which makes us fearful, and then Freddy has his power again, and he starts murdering people again. I live in the house where all these murders took place, and then a lot of the murders start happening to me and all of my friends, and this whole town sort of becomes infected with Freddy Krueger once again.
And the problem is I unleash a Frankenstein monster. And, Jason, once he tastes blood,
But Freddy also learned that Jason is not stoppable. He thought he can stop Jason.
And then Jason begins to poach on his territory, so Freddy has to go in and stop that. He's sort of, Jason's sort of taking over Freddy's favorite victims. And also, I think we sort of have the same victim world, but both Jason and I go after those teenagers having sex. We like have sex, Freddy gets you, or Jason gets you.
I played Jason Voorhees, and Jason's just sort of a little misguided. I like to call him a psycho savant. He lost his mom early. He's just been living out in the woods and under the lake for by himself. No guidance, and he's just sort of following a mandate. Kill all those bad kids.
Jason is just like this silent killing machine. He didn't know because he has this handicap. Then all he knows is if my mom told me something is not right, then I'll do it right. But the means to do it right is wrong by just killing all people.
It's strange because this guy's got a body count higher than mine, but Jason has at least some sort of backstory that makes him seem a little bit, after all, he's a serial killer, but he does have an abusive childhood. Right. One of those that old line, that old saw.
And that is the one thing that is from the original writer, but sort of I elaborate a little bit more on the little kid, the torment that he went through, and sort of like the audience, you can see where Jason's come from. I think that is very important, that you understand where he come from.
Jason! Jason Voorhees!
And Jason is indiscriminate. He's just like a big dumb shark. He's just out there killing. And Freddy has some finesse. Freddy wants to kind of enjoy it and kind of do these strange little nightmare constructs with his victims. He likes to finesse it there. Freddy finds out what scares you. Freddy knows what's in your underwear drawer. Freddy knows the picture of a girl in your wallet. Freddy knows you don't like bugs. Freddy Freddy, if you have a disability, Freddy is the one that takes your crutch away. He's the one that cranks up the volume on your hearing aid. And I think audiences have always responded to that because he's so unapologetically evil, bad. Coming up on Behind the Scenes, we'll introduce you to a whole new batch of victims.
The idea of being, working with Freddy and Jason, these two guys who'd given me nightmares and terrorized me my whole life.
I flushed way better looking things down the toilet. I mean, get real. You're not even scary.
Welcome to Behind the Scenes of Freddy vs. Jason. Now, what would a good horror movie be without the poor teenage victims? Now, in the past, we've killed Johnny Depp, Patricia Arquette, Kevin Bacon, but in the new film, we've got a whole new list of casualties.
I play Lori, who is the least likely action hero ever, because I'm supposed to be this very quiet, subdued, virginal character. And then all these terrible murders start happening, and I kind of have to find my powers and take care of everybody, and I have this strength within me that I had no idea I was capable of having.
Look, Freddy has ruined both of our paths! I am not leaving until I see him die!
I wasn't a big fan of the movies at all, and I just kind of auditioned for it, and I did one scene, and at the end of my audition, the director said, just scream as loud as you can, and just imagine being so terrified, and I gave like a 2-minute scream, and they were like, you're it, you're cast. I guess I was predestined to play this role, kind of. I mean, I think my 8-year-old self would be really proud of me that I'm finally kicking the crap out of these guys.
Oh, she likes it on top.
Wake me up! Wake me up!
I play Will, who basically he's been in a mental institution for the last 4 years when the movie starts because he thought he saw his girlfriend's father kill his girlfriend's mother. And so at the beginning of this movie, he hears that there's been another murder in her house. And so him, along with his best friend, Mark, they decide to break out and go look for her because she's the most important thing to Will. But just the idea of being, working with Freddy and Jason, these two guys who'd given me nightmares and terrorized me my whole life.
I think you're so smart, oh bitch.
Freddy vs. Jason actually kind of landed in my lap. I went out for the audition, and I think 2 hours later, my agent called me back and said, Kelly, you got the part.
I play a character by the name of Kia. She's very mouthy. Kia is very sassy, and she's a worldly girl. She's very cool to be with, but don't step on her toes, because she can be a real diva.
It's so spontaneous, that's what's really cool about horror movies is the fact that they're so spontaneous. And with this movie, everything is popping out at you, and you got Freddy having these silly little remarks. It's so funny.
Oh, sweet. Dark meat.
I mean, he was even doing it off camera. Robert Englund is great.
Kelly had these great lines, but that was the first night I worked with Kelly, and it was like 2 a.m, and Kelly not only had to do pages of dialogue and diss me, which is a little, we've never met before, and she really goes after Fred. I mean, she insults my manhood, but she also had to walk backwards, and we had to keep this equal distance between us for the master shot, and then Kelly had to hit this other specific mark, walking backwards, because then it goes right into a stunt sequence. It's sort of the Freddy Jason sandwich. Don't go away. We've got more madness from the set of Freddy vs. Jason when Behind the Scenes continues.
There are some parts where I was gagging for real.
So I just want to make sure that there's enough blood there to satisfy the horror, audience.
We had Jason fully engulfed in flames over a 3-day period.
Welcome back to E's behind-the-scenes look at Freddy versus Jason. Well, you've already met the man behind the mask and the man behind the glove. Now let's meet the man behind the camera, director Ronnie Yu.
And action, Robert.
I spent 2 weeks. I intensified homework. I watched every single episode of the 2017 movie. But my job is to really just to turn up a notch from the cinematic point of view to make it more exciting, more entertaining.
He was really different than any director I've worked with because he was very into all the action scenes and stuff, and he had such crazy visions of everything that like it was impossible for me to visualize, but then I would see the playback and I'd be like, wow, that's amazing. How did he think of that?
I have a lot of respect for Ronnie, and he really brings the right sensibility to horror. He's like Wes Craven in that he loves the genre. He embraces it.
Oh, what's wrong, Laurie? Miss your wake-up call?
Ooh, cut. Great.
A guy and a girl actually met on the movie. A guy stuntman and a girl stuntman fell in love, and they were doing a doubling 2 of our kids, and they were doing a death scene. And I remember him screaming, "More blood! I need more blood! Die, you honeymoon couple! More blood!" I thought, this is the guy to direct Freddy versus Jason. This is the guy we need.
So I just want to make sure that there's enough blood there to satisfy the horror, audience.
Unfortunately, Ronnie's thirst for blood didn't rub off on the rest of the cast.
There are some parts where I was gagging for real. I don't know if any of that was caught on film, but there were some real nasty parts with guts and blood, and I just was sort of sitting on the sidelines going, okay, I can go through this without actually throwing up. It's making me sick thinking about it.
It did when I saw one disgusting body, like it was open and bloody and nasty, and I was just like, oh, that kind of freaked me out, definitely. We spent a lot of time actually in the makeup on set because, we would shoot like 14 hours a day, and we would have this horrible sticky blood all over us, and like we couldn't sit down, and we'd just have to be on our feet all the time, and it was freezing.
We've basically done the entire gamut of stunts. We have done firework. We had Jason fully engulfed in flames over a 3-day period. The wire work has just been phenomenal. I mean, we have sent these guys flying in every conceivable direction.
Welcome back to E's behind-the-scenes look at Freddy versus Jason. After nearly 20 years in the making, the 2 greatest horror villains of all time finally duke it out in a fight that would make even Don King proud.
Movie fans and fight fans of all ages, let's get ready to rumble!
It's not Freddy fights Jason, it's Freddy versus Jason. So there's a lot of mind game and a lot of manipulation, and Freddy's a lot smarter. I mean, Freddy says to Jason, you're big and you're dumb and you got no style.
Jason is obviously much bigger, much stronger than Freddy, but Freddy is much smarter than Jason.
And in reality, Freddy can't last very long with Jason. In the dream world, it's a whole different thing. Freddy's almost magical in the dream world, let alone the fact that he can exploit the flaws, the character flaws, and the fears of whoever he's dealing with in the dream world.
I always say this is almost like the WWF thing, the wrestling match. You have 2 not so good guys up there on the ring, but you still want to root for one of them, because you want one of them to be more sympathized.
I know they reshot the ending, and I haven't even seen it. They won't even let me know how it ends and who wins. I'm just dying to know, but they shouldn't tell me because I think I would have to tell my friends. I think I would just have to.
That's all for Behind the Scenes. For more information, log on to www.freddyversusjason.com. And when the movie opens, Check it out. See which one of the horror icons reigns supreme. Who could it be?
Here we go. Reversing now, and action!
Oh.
Let's start again. Really? Okay. Let's go back to one second.
Dude, I give him time to get that out.
No, that thing stays in there all the time.
Okay.
And that's why you don't.
I'm trying.
Action! Chuck him! Chuck the punch!
2, 3.
Whoa!
Thanks for the sound effects, right? Whoa!
I'll make it work somehow, okay?
I'm not kidding.
Okay.
You stab it a couple times, maybe on the third one or something, you change it, there you go. And then, like that, so then we gradually go, whoa, off like that, okay?
168, take one. Mark. A marker.
B marker.
Crapless. Oh, thanks.
And set.
And action!
Shit.
Like a Tom and Jerry cartoon. Life and death situation now. You just save the life, right? But actually it's like, and then, right? Like that. You know, otherwise like, okay?
Yeah, just gotta swipe them hard.
Okay.
I mean, it has to be like that. And then you pick this up. You pick this up, and you go, fuck the fuck. Imagine, you are trying to save that to the wounded person. Alright? It's not like just, you know? You got every single one, you got the damage. Every single one. Every single one. It's not like this, just doing the motion.
Okay.
Okay?
Hit them hard.
Make it believable.
Yeah. Make it believe it's
Big energy, guys. Here we go. And action!
Ronnie, I don't want to hurt him.
Pat it stuck guy. Don't worry, you can't hurt him.
All right, I'll hit you then.
168 apple, take one. A mark.
B marker.
Tell me when Ronnie.
Set and action!
Something Alexander.
I'm like,
Yeah, she knows. She knows. Go again. Here we go.
hi, Ronnie.
Here we go. And roll the sound, please.
168 apple, take four. A mark.
B marker.
Set and action. Good cut. Check the game, guys.
I told y'all. I told you, didn't I?
When I get on stage, you know, you just know the song. But here you have to know the lines, you have to actually act it out, make it believable, and it's kind of different and yet the same. I actually enjoy both.
And then all this like fire everywhere, right? And then Lindemann said, get out of here, right? And then you go, remember? you're limping out.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
like that.
Okay.
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 Both are too short. Right, tight on that. Okay, so like track, she crawl, the track, debris come, right, and then they leave.
And then, ladies and gentlemen, do you want to, as they start to come, do you want to do a little?
You want to go back and maybe drive
into crawling out
and drive into some flames or something? Have some flames over here. We
Sure.
can go,
Yeah.
drive into some flames.
With debris.
No, you quite hasn't.
How about a dead body falling into the
Yeah, Julian. What was that just now, eh?
That was me falling.
Take one.
Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Be marked.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
Okay? Get back. Start. Here we go. And very painful. And action.
Lori! Come on. Let's go. Hurry, we gotta hurry.
Go on.
We gotta hurry.
Let it drop.
Oh, shit.
God save us, guys.
Oh. They got pictures of this. I hate pictures.
Yeah, very good.
Don't you hate pictures? When you gotta look like this? Take one more.
Freddy and Jason are pop horror icons. They've been around our culture for almost 20 years, and each of them has become a symbol of all those things that collectively we as teenagers and then as adults are afraid of, so that they are the sum total of our current pop boogeymen.
This was always in the air, the two biggest boogeymen in town.
Well, this concept is not new, and I think New Line took it and said, what's to the contemporary version of the meeting of two ultra villains?
Freddy versus Jason is something that is an idea that I came up with putting the two of them together almost 10 years ago.
Paramount did at one point approach us, or we approached them with the idea of trying to do something, and they basically wanted what we wanted. They wanted us to license them the rights to Freddy Krueger and to go off and really make their movie, which we were not anxious to do. So eventually Paramount lost whatever rights they had, and Sean Cunningham, who has been a friend of mine for a long time, approached us and asked us if this was something that we wanted to do.
At the very beginning, I said, gee, this could really be a good idea, but now that it's all come together and I finally get to see it, I say, this is a great idea. It really works well.
The idea kind of languished because it was difficult to find a production executive within New Line, up to and including our head of production at that time, who really cared a lot about it. When we changed our head of production, we renewed this imperative to Toby Emmerich that we got to find someone who's going to get behind this, and came up with a somewhat unlikely candidate, but we had this wonderful woman, Stokely Chapin, who likes the genre and could really jump in.
I had worked with a producer before and produced I Know What You Did Last Summer, and so I loved horror movies, and I always felt that they were, sort of a way to always find an audience, and that people are always going to love these movies. And 7 years ago I heard the idea and I was like, genius, like that's perfect, like what a great event picture. And then 7 years went by, and by coincidence, and I'd always wanted to work at New Line, but they called and I came over, and then I got Freddy vs. Jason as a project, and to me it was just meant to be.
Well, I've sort of been in bed with Freddy vs. Jason since 2000, since the millennium. I think I was sort of made my deal back then, and we've gone through several directors and several incarnations on the script.
We were somewhat stymied by trying to get a script together that really kind of made some sort of quality narrative sense, and that's what held us back even after we had all of these sort of two characters in place.
There had been a million drafts before, I mean literally I think 17, done by 12 writers.
70% of them probably were rewrites on the same story that all involved this cult called the Fredheads. And then Jason gets resurrected through his heart being thrown into a lake. So most of them were with that same storyline with a girl named Lizzie.
I was on a plane about 2 glasses of wine down last year, flying to London, and I met one of the executive producers of one of my favorite shows on television, King of the Hill, and he'd even done a draft of Freddy versus Jason, and he told me all of his gossip and his take on it.
We worked on another project for New Line, and they brought us in to kind of pitch our take. And I knew that it had been in development for like 10 years, so we just came at it a little bit differently, I think, than the rest of the people. We didn't really go to the histories of the characters and that kind of things. So we wanted to take both histories and both characters as they were in the movies and then start from there.
Yeah, exactly.
That was sort of, you know, our original take.
Keep it all intact. Make it all count. Don't discount all the other movies, and the fans will love you for it.
And so, fortunately, there was a treatment done that had basically the sketched out story of what the movie is. That's the one done by Shannon and Swift. And when I started, I sort of read the treatment and thought, you know, there's some problems here, but it looks pretty good. Let's you know, see what we get when the script comes in. So we got a really good script in. It was overly long and overly complicated and very, very dense. And so we timed the script, came in at 2 hours, 28 minutes, and we're like, you know, this may be the American Beauty of horror films, but it's not American Beauty, and it probably shouldn't be 2.5 hours long. So David Goyer came in, and what he did, honestly, was collapse everything good that was in it, and making scenes that were 3 scenes before into one scene, and when you do that, that one scene becomes a lot more dramatic and a lot more interesting.
And the goal was obviously just to make the film as short as possible. And the task that he had was, you know, to make it, you know, to cut it down without really losing any of the scenes. So a lot of the dialogue wound up getting changed. You know, exactly. And he, you know, I think he combined 2 characters at one point, and you know, did a good job of keeping it short, but without losing the story.
I got involved to the extent of reading scripts as they were developed, interviewing directors that Stokely had previously vetted and brought to Toby and I.
I had made the sort of foolish, you know, proposition to every agency that anybody who wanted to come in and meet, I would take the meeting with. So I probably took 60 meetings with directors of all kinds, from music video directors, commercial directors, you know, people who'd made, you know, one feature or a short, or everybody. And first, of course, we put together our top list of 5 or 6 people. Ronnie Yu was on that list. We went to him and he passed. I was like, okay, I expected that. We went to, you know, Wes Craven, and, you know, the sort of like this you know, the top people in sort of making horror films.
There was a problem in finding somebody who was good and had the enthusiasm for it, in the same way that we had trouble finding a production executive to administer the project.
What was hard to find is there were people who loved the characters, who knew everything about them and had seen every movie 15 times, but didn't have the experience. And then there were people who had more experience, but kind of were like, oh yeah, I think I saw one back in the theater way back when. And we were like, what are you doing here? Like, why would you want to take this on if you don't care about these characters?
Then she approached Ronnie, his agent again. Is it possible that he might want to revisit this whole thing?
So we got him on the phone, and I kind of thought it was a lost cause, because I just expected him to say, thanks so much, you know, for your interest, I really appreciate it, but no. And he was open to it, and we could tell, and so we kind of like kept reeling him in a little bit and said, well, why don't you just come here for a meeting and we can talk about it further? And he said, okay, and we're like, oh my God, he said, okay, he's gonna come.
And then Stokely brought me, I saw the 2 films that she suggested I see that would give me some feeling about the guy, which was The Bride with White Hair and the Chucky, Bride of Chucky, I guess. I was into brides. And I thought that they were quite well done, and the idea of having a Asian point of view and Asian style seemed to me to offer the possibility of bringing a new approach to a horror film than some of the more matter-of-fact, straightforward horror director.
When I was in Hong Kong, growing up in Hong Kong, and I watched a lot of those old on TV, old Hollywood monster movie, like the horror movie, like, you know, Vampire and Frankenstein versus Wolfman, or the Swamp Things, you know, all that. And I just thought, this movie has to go back to the basic, because we see so many of this like CGI movie now, and one thing that keep in my mind when I'm shooting this movie is the film called Rocky. When I first saw the Rocky, the scene that really hit me is the scene at the end, the final fight, when Apollo beat the crap out of Rocky, but Rocky had the spirit to fight back. Even though his eyes all swollen and all that, he tell the trainer, cut it open, cut it open. And that moment, like, I go, ooh, you know. And then actually they cut it open and the blood just spurts out, you know. And that for me is raw. It's raw. You know, it's not like all this, now you have all this wire work, now everybody is copying everybody, like, you know, jumping everywhere, flying everywhere. So I said, oh, now you have these two monsters together now in a ring. It's almost like a WWF thing, you know, wrestler thing. So I said, I should go back to that rawness, you know, to that, like I said, tearing your eyes out, tear your livers out, you know, damage your kidney, you know, and then the machete chopping your head off, chopping the fingers off, you know, that's all rawness, you know. I think, and less of those like quick cut. Usually now, because every time we get to an action sequence, it's quick cut, 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 cut. First of all, you don't know where they are, and then you lose the dynamic. So this time I just put a camera there. I told the second unit director, I said, just put a camera there and let them chop each other out. Like in a chopping board, you know, go, 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 and then blood going everywhere, you know.
Listen, Lord, he is the one who had me committed.
You see, you didn't understand. You're still talking.
Oh, we'll be wide enough.
Okay, and let her go on that side.
And then we'll put the other camera.
Okay, you know, behind you, you're protecting. Exactly, you're protecting.
It's not just a movie now.
Okay. Boom. Put the other camera. Okay, go inside. I'm taking you back to Western.
No way.
No, I've been shooting movie for a long time. You know, making a good movie, I know how to do it. In the beginning, I was hired to make this movie, and it's something that I wasn't too familiar with, and so I learned.
Get out of the van! Get out of the van!
Stop! What are you doing?
Where were you? I've been looking all over for you.
Get away from her!
You're in a hell of a lot of trouble, you know that?
Yeah, like I give a shit anymore!
Get in the house! You didn't understand! You were confused, you still are!
Stop it! Stop it! Bother me!
God damn it, Will Rollins, I'm not gonna let you endanger my daughter again, do you hear me?
Stop
Not after everything that's happened!
Stop it! Stop it! Stop!
So we're gonna do the whole bit. Just Monica, we're gonna do the whole bit, right? Like here, and then we jump into the next scene. So like after Kia left, okay, give a moment, and then the rain will start, right? Right, give like, you know, a couple beats, let the rain start.
We'll have to close the window anyway.
This whole process, this movie, for me, is like a journey. You know, I do studies, I do research, I talk to people, and then realize, wow, this is great, you know. And then I start to get afraid, fear of what? Fear of like to not disappoint the hardcore audience.
Ronnie he has a strange popular culture sensibility, and he doesn't necessarily articulate it. It's all in his visualization, but he is as young and as vibrant in that kind of way as you can be.
There's a scene that's in the movie where in the cornfield, and you know, he flips the guy's head around and pokes him down. So Ronnie Yu was in the room with Bob Shea, and he starts to get up and act this scene out with Bob, and so he steps on Bob's toe, and he goes, and like to Bob's head, and I'm like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? And then he pushes him in the chest, and I was like, okay, there goes Ronnie's job, like that's, and Bob laughed.
Well, Ronnie's a lot of fun, and he's got a lot of energy. And you know, I remember this one time we were literally in a conference room for, I'm not exaggerating, 10 hours.
10 hours.
And you know, Damien and I and Ronnie were like acting the entire script out, like scene by scene. I remember like being on the floor, like, you know, acting out the bed kill for him, and like how we saw it and how he saw it. And I mean, it was a great experience.
Jody.
Oh, hi, Julian. How was the day? How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing today,
Oh, I'm
Ronnie?
very tired. Let me sleep.
Okay. I need 8 hours sleep. Now I'm getting 2.5. So I'm in a bloody mood.
Straight away, straight away.
Like that, huh?
You need to put blood all over his back. Where are those people? The blood people? Charges right here. Blood all over his back.
People are right here.
2, 3, go.
3, 2, 1. When we come up, if you lean back and then flap forward, you might be able to try that. Like I might be able to do this because all that bedspread crap. No, it's only going to be the sheet. The pillows would be like if almost like the weight of this is the momentum of this will force you back like that. Oh, totally. Try that, but don't do it too fast at first. Let that go. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Sounds beating.
Hey, they have a slate. What was it?
It's 11 frames. We're at OS. All right, guys.
Sorry.
Ready, Jesse? And
set.
Action.
We're gonna go into the inner sanctum of the shooting set. Come with me.
I got some.
To the window, please. Not to one in the bedroom. Here we go. Lightning test. Oh God. Go, Dean. Go.
One more time. One more time. It's got to get down right on the floor there.
Yes. Perfect. And action.
It's no business like show business. It's no business like show business. It's no business like show business. It's no business like show business.
Some of us don't spies. EP case lies. Don't trust them. Steal your soul.
And set. And background. And action.
Every day it's the same thing. It's like one of those fucking fruit dogs that keeps humping your leg.
Very good. Cut it. The camera's right on your shoulders, so just walk steady and real slow.
64 kilo, take 3. The only mark.
And action.
He's a child murderer that some parents from Radford turned alive. Then he came back.
No.
Back for revenge and had nightmares. Funny no one ever told us about
Okay,
him.
thank you.
You know what I'd say? Coffee. Make friends with
Mark, that's enough. You're scaring her. Good, cut it.
The first one is rehearsal, the second one is the second is too fast, and the first one is too slow.
Okay.
I thought you might be in trouble, so we...
Lori!
Very good, cut.
This movie has to go back to the basic. And I go back to the first original Friday 13 and the first original Nightmare. You know, I said, oh, this is the key. So from then on, so I'm so like a samurai, like, you know, my vision is like a samurai. Okay, this is it. This is the only way to make this movie.
So here's the timing of everything, guys. As soon as Lori goes down and everyone goes to her mark, Brendan looks down, then looks up and sees Principal Shay in this pane of glass. Right, guys need to move right here.
Yeah. Right? And this is where you are, and as soon as he sees you, Bob, you take a couple steps this way, right to here, and they're taking off. Okay, so as soon as you see him coming, Brendan, you grab Jason and you take off. Let's rehearse one more time, guys. Let's go to first positions now, please.
I really wanted to be an actor when I was a kid. That's how I sort of started in show business, and I acted on television and, in fact, in radio.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
I would have become an actor, actually, but I saw myself in too many productions where I was awful. So I decided to get behind the camera, or even be way behind the camera, and started New Line instead.
And background, and action.
Help! Somebody get some help, you asshole!
Let's go!
Lori! Lori, you okay, Lori? Lori?
Good. Cut.
And we've cut, thank you.
Very good.
Good?
Yeah. Okay, Julian? Good, thank you. Yeah. Marker. Hey, Marker.
Lots of life in the background, please. Lots of life and lots of energy. Here we go.
And set.
Frame.
Back up.
Where?
There you go. In this hallway right here, right front.
Oh, right here. Back up.
And set.
Frame.
Back up, back up, back up. Okay. Pull your books in. Thank you. Pull your jacket in. Thank you. And action.
Mark, Will, listen, we got to talk. No, take it easy. Take it easy. Nobody wants any trouble around here. But look, the important thing is that you guys are safe. And why don't you come with these officers? We'll take you back to the hotel.
Cat. Hotel again. You can't get away. That was good so far.
The hardest part, I think, with horror movies, when I first read it, I sat there thinking, how am I gonna make it not look cheesy, now you're in the real world, now you're in the dream world, and all of a sudden you scream, and it's like, most of the stuff isn't very, it's really hard to get it, make it believable.
Is that it? Yeah, I think so. So are we giving you a little more?
When you actually get on set with everybody, it's like the writing gets lifted off the page, and then it becomes spooky.
127, Baker, take 3. Mark. And Mark.
So I'll cue you in, okay? And set. Here we go. And action. Session.
Ronnie Yu is just this amazing visual director, and also him working with Fred Murphy, who's the DP. My favorite part of this entire thing has been watching them come up with how to spook somebody out. And it's like a comic book. It's just totally written out like a comic book, and it's great.
Back up. Back to once.
You get the door, right? And then come in, go, see him, then immediately go up because Jason's gonna come back.
I should probably do it from over here, right?
So you don't see him, right?
I could be over him. The nice thing about being here is that you'll get them running through the frame, the body's wiping through as Jason's coming through.
Okay, set up. Let's do it.
Action, camera.
No, Ken. It's not Jason. This is like Ronnie Yu coming through. That motivation is there. Yeah. It's like Jason uses that body to open the door for you. So it's like, it has to be like...
When Jason throws Officer Stubbs through a glass door. And it was so funny because I was really scared that scene, and Ronnie kept telling me to calm down. He was like, look at you on camera, you don't have to act scared because you are. And he just got a kick off of that, and it was fun. That's one of my favorite scenes.
Let me see.
Okay. At what speed do you think?
It's slow, but not that slow. Not that so casual, you know?
Okay.
Camera.
I think the most important thing is to find the look. Is to find the look of that. How do you make a dream world? Not like so dreamy that it become like a fairy tale or fantasy. you know, because yet it has to be scary, it has to be eerie, you know, and yet in the real world you still have to be eerie and scary, but you have a different look. You have the realistic look.
In order to separate dream world from reality, we've actually made it reasonably obvious in most instances. In places like Freddy's hell, you're instantly aware that it's a completely outlandish place to be, and the same with Jason's dream world. These are places that couldn't exist anywhere.
So I was lucky to have, like, you know, Fred Murphy and the art director, you know, John Willett, and everybody like work so closely together, and the visual effect people sort of like find that balance, you know. So we use a lot of color, different color, a lot of primary color, like deep red, deep blue, deep green on the dream world.
When the nightmare parts happen in what we call a real environment, like one of the houses, then we've treated it filmically as different. We've played with lighting, with bleach passing, with all sorts of things like that in order to make it a bit more subtle.
Robert? Yeah. You tilt your hat back just slightly.
Freddy Elvis Krueger. Here we go, and roll sound now. Rolling.
D marker.
And set. And action.
Boing, 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 boing. Oh.
The boiler room is an interesting set. It's Freddy's nightmare world, and what I've done there is modeled that set after a city called Kowloon in China, where it was a city that developed over the years without any regard to building code or anything else, and all of the cable and the plumbing and the wire and electrical were all just sort of hung on walls, and they would drape down hallways and into rooms, and it was quite outlandish. So the set was an existing boiler room, and we've added tons and tons and tons of cable and wire and boilers and all sorts of mechanical and electrical stuff, so that it's absolutely crazy in there, and then painted everything with 5 different coats of paint in the sort of rust and fire range, so that when the light hits it, it has this very deep texture to it.
That's a good one, man. That's great.
Penny for your thoughts, Chief.
Hey, Robert, does he want me to grab him and start that move? You know, when I turn him around?
Yeah, up here, right? Yeah. And Jason is like painful like this, and then his hand, this hand, actually, without you knowing it, is pulling out the machete, and this hand, you push me, like rather than turn around. Yeah. No, you just push my hand, almost like slice decapitate me. I see. You know, like.
Well, I think that the film needed this look, because the look of the film has this sort of graphic novel look to it. You know, the whole way it's stylized is because of the contribution between Ronnie and Fred Murphy, the cinematographer.
Wait 1/3.
Sound is now speed.
Okay, we have speed? Yeah, pull this slate out.
So rolling. Here we go. And action.
I'm still too far out.
You gotta come closer.
Here we go.
All right.
And action.
Penny for your thoughts, Chief.
Okay. All right, I thought we were going to catch his dialogue, his improv dialogue at the end. So do you want him to get set and action?
Penny for your thoughts, Chief. Oh, scary.
Okay, we've cut. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was our first really
Roll
good
again.
one.
Here we go. And roll the sound, please.
What's interesting about the production design on this movie is that we have decided to not treat it like a normal horror film. We've decided that we actually want to make all the sets and the costumes and everything else very real. so that when scary stuff happens, you're really not expecting it at all.
But when he falls?
When he falls, it's still not green.
With Jason's dream world, to differentiate it from anything else, I've used watercolors because that's his secret fear.
We're gonna have like he hit, right? He hit, he fell,
Right.
and then we have the second unit have a shot of the bursting, right? Oh, that should be sort of red, yeah.
Red.
So when we cut back to Freddy getting up, it's green, right?
Okay.
What did he see? We can just jump back.
You see him through the water.
Yeah. Right?
And then
And then through the water.
reverse again.
Reverse.
through
You
the water.
see Jason come up. Whoop. Looks up.
Through the waterfall.
Well, the water, right? Come down, and then go back to Freddy. We can clear, and Freddy's eyes go. Fantastic. You can shoot reverse magazine, and then have Robert try to walk backwards,
Like I'm walking out of it.
You know what I mean? To shut off. No,
So he's dry.
it's dry. So it's like
There you go.
it's like the water sort of like part.
Yeah, but the water will be going up.
Yeah, go on, and then as you go.
yeah,
So we have to time this, but try a couple
Yeah, I
times.
have to like,
Yeah.
it would be like,
So we do this from the side.
Yeah, from the side.
Okay.
Okay? Let's put some dust on him. Let's put some dust on him. He just came up from that boiler.
135 Utah, take one.
Mark.
Hailing mark.
And set.
Action again.
Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
Good. Okay. Yeah, cut. Yeah.
I swung the machete at the water, made contact with water.
Exactly. Good. And then you try again. It's great.
Okay, good.
And then try again, and then sort of like
You want 3 times?
two times. And when I said lower, really low, lower down to like non-threatening pulse. Okay. Let's try again.
10, 3%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't right. Yeah, there you go. No, it's just the tinting was bad. Go again.
so there is something you're afraid of after all.
The most fun I've had in the sets on this movie would be split between, I think, Jason's world and Freddy's world, because they truly are nightmarish environments, and they're the kind of fun stuff that make it quite unique visually. There is a big exterior wherein I've built a house that's at 45 degrees and sunk into the swamp, and there are around it all sorts of heads and arms trying to get out of the ground.
So the other one was.
So we got a total of 3.
Okay, so we're there. Okay.
Plus 2.
Okay, can we just...
Keep an eye on over Daisy.
John Mullet?
Yeah. Hold, 1 sec, we're just going to figure that out now. How far do you think you want him to walk? And that will determine how far we put the platform. You could either have him come around this way or from shore. It seems, I guess, like he's got to come from shore because why would he walk around the back? So, but you're not gonna want to have him walking all that way because that'll just be. Let's go straight back from where we are, more or less. That gives us a 3/4 onto it for start, okay? Charles, we're gonna need about 30 feet of platform.
30 feet, eh? So it's all shadow water, so look at how far it goes.
No, it does. No, he's on a steel platform. We'll just extend the steel platform, but it does get deeper. But
What you suggest, the light come from this window? Yes.
it could be that dormer window there.
Okay, the
Yeah.
down window, okay. So we have to factor it like this?
What we could do is put a white bounce in the back and then just hit something like that, and it'll pop through.
And before we go, what we'll do is let these guys see the back of it so they can see their access.
What do you think of the mud, John?
What did we do? Well, I think the mud's going to be fucking brilliant. I love the mud. What it's going to need is a lot more greens, obviously, but that's a great base.
Well, we got lots more to dress it. We just
Oh, no, I know. As I said, this isn't dress. This is just a base.
I'm waiting for you. We've been waiting for you.
Yeah.
No, wait, that's right. That's enough. That's enough. My math isn't very good early in the morning.
What do you think, Fern?
Boon's not happy today. Boon's spirit is bruised.
Get that? 3 rings?
Yeah.
This movie, as with most movies, the set construction, if it's carried out correctly, that about 20 minutes after the director yells cut, the whole set will fall apart, because that means that we haven't wasted one nail or one piece of wood in order to achieve the scenery. On a couple of instances we actually have very, very big fires, and you can't use burnable materials, believe it or not, when you're staging a fire, because then take two becomes a bit of a problem. So what we've done is things like the dock, which you'll see in major fire near the end of the movie, it's actually made of steel and a product called hardy board, which is inflammable, or flammable. That's always a funny one in English. And it's all piped with propane pipes, so we can control the fire all the time. And that way we could use it as many times as we wish without risking the whole thing burning up. This film is different than others I've worked on because it's a big horror film, and I haven't done a lot of those. I've done similar things like Halloween H2O and Final Destination, but this is the first true sort of slasher horror movie I've done. So it's very different and challenging, because in order to make it interesting you have to do something different, and how to separate it has been the fun part.
Okay, guys, no plate on that. We'll go again.
There's so many different talents that are involved in making this all happen. Generally, I'll read the script and can visualize what we're about to design. I'll do a rough sketch and then pass it on to the art department and have a meeting with them and discuss exactly what we'll be designing. The demon makeup is based on we basically took the original sculpture that I did of Freddy Krueger's makeup, and we took another life cast of Robert, and we built a muscle, an enhanced muscle over top of his face, and then we took the skin out of the original Freddy mold, and we're able to drape and blend that over top of the new muscle to give him more of a brutish, beefed up look.
Sometimes Freddy gets really pissed and he mutates just for a second. It's a little bit of help from CGI, but the makeup that fans will be seeing is actually a practical makeup. But whenever I did that, I had to have different eye makeup, contact lenses, different teeth, more fragile teeth.
What's the matter, Laurie? Miss your wake-up call? Great. Cut. One more. So, Robert,
yeah.
landing.
We've cut, thank you. Let's start, guys.
Go higher.
Okay. Let's lock it up there. All right.
Mark. Ceiling mark.
11 frames.
And set. And action, Alan. And background.
And then you turn around and see your face.
So I should be in shorts and a little counselor's t-shirt.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. And she's
and then just turn around, and the bitch is dead on her feet.
Yeah. But make sure you turn it around more so I can see the dead feet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'll show her off.
Almost every script involves something that will require us to build, whether it's a duplicate of an actor or an animal or a cut. Usually every film deals with makeup effects in some way. The biggest challenge is the amount of time that we have to build a specific gag. We try not to limit it to that one function. So many things can happen on set where the director might all of a sudden think of something that wasn't necessarily scripted, and we have to be on hand to bring his vision to life. So as long as we can finish it in time to have time to prepare for tests, then we can usually work out all the bugs by then.
Okay, everybody say cheese.
Cheese!
For Freddy's makeup, we're using foam latex, which has been the norm for many, many years. It's durable, so there's a lot of scenes where Robert's in the water or near water.
It's evolved over the years. Now it's they wouldn't have been able to do a single piece this large a couple of years ago because the foam latex wasn't as strong or as fine. And I'm not sure if all of this is lined, Patricia, with a nylon.
We removed that, and then the rest would be the back of the head.
And it's lined with.
It's like a stocking material.
Yeah, it's like a nylon, which is also a new addition to the.
Just to help for the pullover, because you have to pull over the head and the movement of the neck.
We would have never been able to do that before. It would have stretched the piece.
We will pre-paint all of our pieces here in the shop. We'll have as many as 12 masks going at the same time. Once they're completed, we send them off the set. In the case of Freddy's makeup, they're applied by Margaret and Patricia. They carefully glue the piece down to Robert's face. Every millimeter of skin that he has adhesive put on it, so the skin is very, very form-fitting.
The foam latex actually breathes itself. It's porous by nature. But if I work outside, strangely enough, it gets really hot inside the makeup because the sun is overhead, the heat source is overhead. When I'm working on a sound stage, or if I'm working inside, lighting is generally from the side, and I never feel like I'm hot. It's great in cold weather, the makeup, because I'm warmer than my ears are warm when we're on, because we were on Jason's turf on this film. We were out at his lake a lot, and it was cold. And I was fine because my ears were covered,
And then once it's put on, after a 3-hour process for application and another hour for removal, we bulletproof the whole thing with a sealer. And a lot of the maintenance is carried through by the makeup artist, and also Robert being aware that he has a foreign material on his face, and he's very good with the material, and he doesn't eat greasy pieces of chicken while he's wearing it, or corn on the cob, or he takes very good care of his makeup.
Go ahead, tell him. The camera's on. Tell him what you just picked off me. Some Lind Eastwood.
He had some Lind Eastwood on him.
Here's alcohol.
I always believe that in a scary movie, you got to have humor there. So loosen up the audience, and then you hit them with another scare. To put all this puzzle together is very difficult. It's almost like impossible. But I was so lucky that I was able to bring a good friend of mine who's been my DOP in Hong Kong for 15 years. And he's like a DOP/director. And his name is Poon Hang Sang. And because he and I worked on a lot of action movie before, so we understand what is required. And so that really helps me, because I have sometimes had to leave one scene for him to shoot, and then I have to come in to do the close-ups, of the actor. That means I have to really trust him. So I think the tools that we use is two things. We spend a lot of weekends, in my hotel room, and then work out the routine. Because he himself is a very sort of expert martial artist. And then in Hong Kong, we always do the same thing. We sort of work out the routine, how to block, how to kick, how to fight, and all that. And then we have a very good storyboard, a drawer, and then sort of illustrate, so that throughout the weekend we work out everything. And then he go out and just execute. And that way, first of all, I have the trust, and I feel more confidence, more relaxed that, okay, it's all on paper now. It's done. It's good. We sort of test it out already.
Okay. We ready? We have speed? And light him up. He's lit. And action! Action! Ready? And turn left.
Bring up flame pad. Bring up flame pad.
It was a new twist on a full burn that I had never done in the past.
Bring up the cross.
Glenn Ennis, who doubles Ken Kersinger, who is Jason, had to walk probably about 75 feet, fully engulfed in flames. And what the problem that presented to us was he became blind after so many feet. So we actually put a radio and an earwig in his ear and lit him on fire, gave him actions, and I actually, over the radio, watching the monitor, guided him through the cornfield. He would get to a certain mark that I had penciled on the screen, and I would say veer left, and he would veer left. Another 20 feet, I'd say veer right, and he would veer right. And he walked through this whole thing, walked right to my safety guys who had the CO2 canisters, hit the ground, and we put him out. So that was kind of a challenge on that one, but it worked out very, very well in the end.
Okay, Glenn, coming up. Come on up, Glenn.
Yeah, it gets a little toasty at times.
Apple box coming in.
My job is just to get beat up, burnt, abused.
Yeah, Tim, you guys can move.
Jason gets no respect, basically, even from the kids he later killed. They should know better by now.
Camera! And reaction one. Woo. What?
I just kind of enlarge what they've already established to a point where Ronnie Yu is happy and Poon Hang Sang, our second unit director. I just try and make it as big as possible and let them tell me when to stop.
The second unit is almost shooting parallel with us. And so that I have to really work, really close with the second unit director and the cameraman and also the stunt people. To get what I envisioned. There's a lot of involved on fire, water, explosions, car crash, machetes.
It's not real kids, it's just fake.
Cutting out, body parts. And all that different part, require a lot of precision, designs. And so that the storyboard is really help. And also the second unit director been working with me in Hong Kong for many years. So there's a trust. It's very, very, very important.
Okay, that's the 65. That's the wrong lens. 32.
32. Poon, we're getting a little boxed in here with a guy on fire killing 3 people with a machete. We need to keep so much space. I mean, he's got a radius of like 8 feet. We're just encroaching now in the back.
Where you want the space where you want. You just can rehearse and see what the space far away.
Fine. I mean, you want to be back here? Could this be the end of the track?
That would be good, right?
Yeah,
if the camera said, okay.
That's fine.
So the camera track will be like the camera wise, starting here. So when the guy comes in, it gets here, and then when the second guy, so he's moving, so moving like this. Yeah. All right.
Okay. That's fine. So now can this carry through, Chuck?
I can carry that through.
What if we carry that through to give him the spinning? There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
I'm stopping there.
There you go.
This is our safety route here, so nothing in here. There's going to be 2 safety people, and that's it. We're going to have 1 safety man on the other side, which is Owen, just beside it. Nobody else should be here. Just give us lots of room. We have boxed him in, so this is a little dicey on our side. If Glenn gets in any trouble, he's hitting the deck before the end of the shot. If that happens, what I need this dolly to go to the end of the track, and everybody with him. When Glenn finishes the routine, he's going to hit the deck right here, and we're on him. The moment he makes his move to hit the deck, we got to move that thing to the end of the track at the same time. Leave it there. Once he's out, we're going to pick him up and we're going to walk in this direction, right where Kathy is our safe spot. That's where we'll stop. Once we're clear there, then we can clean up in here. But once again, just let us do what we got to do. We'll all be safe.
Ready and action. Ready and swing. Here.
Sorry, Jesse.
Shuffle left or shuffle right, Glenn. Hit you in the beer and cut. In you guys
Sorry,
go.
I always miss the beer.
Move the dolly. Move the dolly, guys.
Yeah.
When he hits this,
Yeah.
I had to get down a little here to make it work.
You can come back up.
So do you want me to get hit? Like, can you hear it?
Yeah, right. The whole idea is you sense all this blood coming up to the almost it's under pressure, then you fell. It's not the way that's just cut, blood come up and you fell. Then we won't see anything, right?
Okay. I will stay here a lot longer and then.
Yeah, try to make a like, try to make drama reasonable.
Knock some of this stuff over. Or
It's
whatever.
okay, no problem. You can put up something, right?
Okay. Okay.
All good. Okay. Have the camera set that.
This is being used for all the fire stunts that Jason goes through. Thickening up some areas in the mask just to make sure that the stunt doesn't have any problems with any hot spots on the mask. This is a silicone mask. When the masks are actually put together, the Nomax hoods are embedded within the silicone, so it's just basically double the protection. Those that silicone plugs are actually gaskets that go or are actually custom made to the mask. It actually creates a seal so that the actor is completely encased with the breathing apparatus that's contained within the mask.
Because it wasn't. Because you keep getting injured doing other stuff.
Exactly. Okay.
It's too brittle to do other stuff.
Exactly. Put enough there. Shouldn't have told you it was the last one.
So we put it in the fridge.
Packed it nice.
No, we're feeding it to make sure it was.
I know it's a good thing.
Get that body temperature.
Although when my head was hot the other day, that felt really good. Full of it on there. It's the best thing.
So that's why I'm picking some wussy sport.
It holds the gel. I stayed scruffy on purpose so it would just, keep a nice thick support structure for the gel. Yep.
Let's do up the front of that fire suit, guys. Okay? Pushing it in.
Yeah.
They're connected. Yeah, Brett, where's Leslie? Glenn, you can help there.
Oh, actually.
I'm gonna hold these tubes up. Hold on, push that down.
I'm right here.
Just get my hand in there. I'm just gonna push that tube up, Glenn. There.
Okay.
Is it in? Okay. I got her here. So Glenn, they've got accelerants on either side of the path when you're walking down. You want to go to the left or the right, doesn't matter. Oh, these guys got visuals on you all the way down there. Don't come right in the middle of the path because you'll have the hay on either side. And last one of the day, it's late, just be safe on it.
They're here. Let's use them.
Careful, will you?
So did you get the carpet turkey at home?
Oh, there's no.
What did you just paint it? What did you just paint it?
Oh, this is just.
This is spray glue. We're just tacking down the wardrobe so it doesn't come loose, and so you don't see the edge of the prosthetic.
It's a major embarrassment for us.
Yeah.
If you can see what's underneath, then they'll know it's fake.
These are what the guys at the shop made us, JP, and these will fit for our stuntmen, for women, like that, and the wardrobe goes over top. The hose connects. This is a blood rig and an open wound. The slash happens off camera. His back would be towards camera. Jason would come with a machete, cut him, he turns to camera, and the blood sprays. A big blood fest. The air pushes the blood through at a high volume.
10 feet, 15 feet.
For about 3 seconds, gushing spray.
Yeah, we soaked both the camera crews last night, so.
And the dolly track and the lights.
We're very happy.
Our job was done well.
All right, guys, here we go. This is not time for final adjustments. We're there. Roll camera. The ship has sailed. We're rolling. Kevin's rolling.
Speeding on B.
Out. Here we go, and riding. Ready and action! Ready and swing! Go forward, Glenn, go forward, Glenn, go forward. And cut! 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 Pick him up, pick him up, pick him up, pick him up.
Okay, bring him out. Guys, clear out. Clear out. Don't come in. Watch the track, guys.
That was exciting. It's coming up. Help him out.
Very nice, Glenn. That was the last burn scene with Glenn Innes, ladies and gentlemen. Very nice. Good on that
Stuff
one?
burns in the eye. It's worse than actual fire. I'd rather have fire in my eyes than any more of that gel. Not to say that wasn't fun.
So, as soon as you gathered your thoughts,
Shower
and then come on back. If you need a shower, but now you're into now we're into mass killing.
Yeah, okay.
With the exception of helicopters and aerial work, we've basically done the entire gamut of stunts. We have done fire work, we've done car work where we turned over a old Chevy van.
And action.
We have used a tremendous amount of stunt equipment. The wire work has just been phenomenal. I mean, we have sent these guys flying in every conceivable direction. We've had them flying into objects, through walls, upstairs, downstairs. I mean, it's just, you name it, we've done it. It's really been quite an interesting show stunt-wise.
Second unit was really key in the fight scenes. We had a terrific second unit director, and we had terrific stunt guys on this film, and they held our hands through it. And you see Freddy flying through the air and hitting a wall, or flying through the sky and landing in Crystal Lake on fire. And boy, we have some great air stunts and some great high falls. And knowing how much I could do, when you see Freddy flying through the sky on fire, I wish I could lie and tell you that was me, because it looks really cool, but it's not. I mean, that's my stunt double. A great stunt double in this, and Doug's really making me look good.
I really credit the stunt coordinator, though. I mean, we had the idea of the construction set, but I believe that it was his idea to come up with the swinging, whatever the hell that is, cement mixer, and it really worked as sort of a, it's like whenever you needed a big knock, here it comes.
We physically put Robert Englund on that and swung him around. And he had a blast. We lowered him down, got him back on his feet, and he was giggling the whole time, so.
I've never worked so hard in my life, and I'm an old dog now. I mean, I surf, and I can do everything once. And what happens on a set? Sets are very macho and very male, and you try to get out there. But in the case of this film, I mean, I wore the wire. All the underwater stuff is me. All the water stuff is me.
The challenges here was basically taking a show like this, a show with this size and scope, on the road and doing it here on location in Vancouver. I've had a lot of help from my co-stunt coordinator, Scott Attia, who's just been a tremendous help helping me find local people, stunt people, talented, were the right size. He's been such a help in that area. And then my stunt rigger, who's been in charge of putting together all my wire work, has been Kurt Bond, who's also from up here. And I've just been totally impressed with his work, with his equipment, and the things we've ended up getting on film. I've been just very, very pleased with.
So Deb, what I'm going to set the ratchet, and I'm going to give you a count. 3, 2, 1, go. And go, I will fire you. Okay. Turn around, you're behind you, see how everything is behind you? Right. The guys are going to hold the mats up like that. I'm going to try to put you right into there, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
So for the first one, well, we're just going to dial it up. It's turned right down right now, and then we're just going to dial it up. Okay?
Cautionary steps vary upon what type of stunt we're doing. If it's a high fall, then we're bringing in porta-pits, airbags, boxes. With ratchets, what we'll do is when Freddy or Jason or one of their many victims go flying out of frame or to a wall. During rehearsals, we'll actually put pads up against the wall and along the floor, and we'll show all the camera guys, exactly how they're going to go and how they're going to fly, and we'll just pull those pads out for the actual take on film, so that way we can actually see them hitting the wall and the impact.
Right before you go, 3, 2, 1, go. Just give me a little hop so that you're up in the air. 3, 2, 1, go. So that you're on your way up and go. It just gives you a little bit more of an arc as you fly. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Yes. But these first ones, let's just get the pressure down and just get you to the pad, and then we'll start fine-tuning little things like that, alrighty?
Okay.
There we go.
We're doing some rehearsal.
So we're gonna let her down with this. Yeah, just let her go into it, you know? So
Guys, we're getting ready to rehearse.
well, we're gonna let her down, right? Yeah. All right, Deb, ready?
Yeah, ready?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Ready, guys?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go. Good. Okay?
Yeah, drag.
That's what I meant about the drag.
It feels great. More pressure. I like it with more pressure because you get off, you go faster, it's more air, it's all good.
Ready, Deb?
Ready?
Here we go. Ready, Darren?
Hey, Ken, eyeball the top of this tree for me, will you?
Okay.
We were really blessed on this show with Ken Kersinger.
2, 1, go.
Who they've cast as Jason in this episode, who is a very successful stuntman in his own right, which it's just been a tremendous blessing to have a guy with that much head knowledge, who knows when he comes smashing through a wall, he knows what to expect. And other than just making sure his elbows are padded up and stuff, he's ready for it. He's having a blast.
Lori, please, wake up! Lori, please, come on, baby! Please! What? Lori, please, come on!
It's all playtime for me.
Cut! Are you okay, Jason?
You know, it's such a change because my background is with stunt work and stunt coordinating, and it's very serious business. And coming out and playing Jason as an actor is it's just fun. It's playtime.
He could get in there and get a lot more down and dirty than I could, you know, although I gave my 2 cents worth. I showed no quarter.
Now, let's try it again. First of all, this thing is too fake, like too poor, like just coming through. You have to cut it somehow, you know, make it less like, you know, like too, okay, it should be brick like this rather than like this. Right. Okay? All right.
He has every shot worked out, and he's so specific about what he wants. I think he has just a really great eye for all these special effects and visual effects and, you know, shots that make things look scary. And, you know, while you're doing it, you just sort of think, oh, okay, this is cool. But I know that he has this master plan to make everything just look amazing.
Lori, come on, wake up, please! Come on! Lori, please!
Can you hear it, Jason?
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, all right.
You need to look.
Yeah,
Okay, fine. As long as you hear it. Good. And then Jason comes through. Jason comes through.
And crash.
Crash. Okay, and cut.
We've got, thank you.
Okay. The flame is not good, and then Ken, your kick is a little bit timid.
Okay. Here we go.
Lori, please, come on.
Play the camera again for us, please.
There's something slammed on my foot.
Battle of the Bad Guys, a horrifying behind-the-scenes preview of Freddy vs. Jason.
They're back! Jason, Friday the 13th Masked Killer, and Nightmare on Elm Street's Freddy Krueger are working on a sequel together.
Wow. It's a blood-curdling battle of evil versus evil. Kristen Malia traveled to Vancouver for an exclusive preview of Freddy vs. Jason.
Camp Crystal Lake. Peaceful, serene, infamous. Home to one of the most celebrated movie maniacs of all time, Jason Voorhees. You know, it's not all fun and games on this set. In fact, it's dark, it's late, it's kind of spooky, and I'm afraid that Freddy or Jason is going to come out here anytime. Oh my God!
He's going down. The big guy's going down. Place your bets now.
Robert Englund returns for the 8th time as Freddy, and he's going mano a mano with Friday the 13th serial slasher.
Shooting a dream sequence out here. This is Jason's home, Crystal Lake, and sometimes we're shooting a hyper reality out here.
Jason submerged in the lake is nothing new, but this time he's gonna have a swimming buddy.
I'm underwater a lot. I'm going in this water. I've already been in it once, and also I think they're going to set the lake on fire.
He's also fired up about some new celebrity opponents. Jason took on both Kevin Bacon and Corey Feldman, while Freddy has battled the likes of Lawrence Fishburne and Johnny Depp. This outing is no exception with Jason Ritter, yes, son of John, and Destiny's Child member Kelly Rowland, who gets to give Freddy a piece of her mind.
I flushed way better looking things down the toilet.
Me? I was terrified. I've been scared of Freddy since I was 7 years old.
The film chops and hacks its way into theaters next year.
I'm Kristen Malia for E! News.
Oh my God, who do you think's gonna win?
I'm still a Jason guy.
Really?
But I like the sit-down actor-to-reporter interview with Freddy Krueger. That was excellent.
Yeah, that was a little, yeah. But I think actually Freddy.
All right.
I was a big Freddy fan.
We'll
All right,
put some
whatever.
money on it.
Well, unfortunately, that's it for us today.
Thank you very much for being here. Happy Halloween. Be careful out
Happy
there.
Halloween, you guys.
Yell trick or treat nice and loud. We'll see you next time.
Stars goes on the set of the ultimate heavyweight matchup of the summer, Freddy vs. Jason.
Ready for your thought?
Notice who gets top billing for the 8th installment of a great Nightmare on Elm Street film. This time I'm meeting my match with Jason Voorhees.
Jason is obviously much bigger, much stronger than Freddy, but Freddy is much smarter than Jason.
These two giants of the horror movie world going head to head.
Welcome to my nightmare.
I was so excited that these two guys that both scared the hell out of me are fighting each other. And I'm here, I'm in the middle of it.
Freddy vs. Jason is something that it's an idea that I came up with putting the two of them together almost 10 years ago. I said, gee, this could really be a good idea, but now that it's all come together and I finally get to see it, I say, this is a great idea.
This is the ultimate, roller coaster ride and a popcorn movie.
Don't worry about my little errand boy. The only thing to fear is fear himself.
And this is sort of going back to the original frightening, scary demon horror movies that is kind of more of a serious take on the horror movies, the way they were intended.
Needs to install fear into his potential victims. The children, the relatives, the offspring of the original vigilante parents that burned him and sent Freddy into his sort of nebulous purgatory where he dwells and plots his revenge. So I use Jason, who inhabits the real world, to begin a reign of terror so that everybody can get their fear festering again so that I can exploit it later.
There's a bunch of kids who get stuck in the middle and try to get out or try to fight them.
We have to muster up our strength and our gumption, and we get in there and we fight these two terrible killers.
Get real. You're not even scary. And what's with the butter knife?
And then it soon becomes a competition. It soon becomes, Jason, trying to kill people, and just killing them, not even realizing that Freddy's trying to kill them.
Freddy also learned that Jason is not stoppable. He thought he can stop Jason. So finally they said, okay, now I have to face off with this monster.
I'm afraid of you.
Now that we're in the real world, huh? There's the dramatic question is who's tougher, because neither one of them has ever been able to be defeated.
I'd have to say Jason is tougher, just because he's just humongous. And Freddy is a little more creative and smarter and sort of more weaselly and quicker.
At least Freddy sort of plays with you a bit and would make your death maybe a little more interesting. If you have to die by the hands of one of them, Freddy would probably be a more interesting tale to tell in heaven than with Jason, who would just cut your head off in a second.
This isn't my home. This is Jason's home. You're supposed to visit me in my home, in the boiler room, where I'm strong.
In a dream world, anything goes. You know, anything Freddy can think of, it become a weapon. It become a killing situation. But in the real world, Freddy is the underdog. Now, Jason has the upper hand.
We've actually been sworn to secrecy, by New Line Cinema here. But I'll say this is my pat thing. Freddy takes a licking, but he keeps on clicking. All right.
He holds up, let me tell you. He takes a good beating, but so does Jason. So, you just have to wait and see where those end up.
Why won't you die?
The reason that Freddy, I think, is so terrifying after all these years is that what he does is he goes in and takes something that you're afraid of and he makes it whole, he makes it his own, and he exploits that fear.
I don't think anybody in this world can play Freddy Krueger except Robert Englund.
Both of you need to take that first step at the same time on action, step, right?
He's so magical. And he's just so creative, and he figures out all these kinds of ways to just make Freddy more interesting, whether it's grabbing your face a certain way or even like the angles. He's just so technical.
To watch Robert Englund on set is such an amazing thing, because this is a character he's been playing for 20 years, so he knows it so well. And he's got such a great, enthusiasm for it too, He's really genuinely excited to be a part of it, even after all these years. It's infectious.
We're having fun doing it. It's a lot of fun working with Robert. I gotta tell you, it's hard to get your motivation when he's being so nice all the time. I tell him to stop that.
My motivation is the 4 hours it takes to put this on.
Yes.
And also the fact that, he gets in my light all the time. And you can well imagine, it's like working with a sequoia.
Jason can come out as a faceless, mindless source of death and just snatch your life away from you for no rhyme or reason.
Jason's just sort of a little misguided. I like to call him a psycho savant. He's just sort of following a mandate, kill all those bad kids.
Freddy in this movie refers a lot to, he's like, you got no style. And I think he's wrong, honestly. I think Jason does have a big style. Maybe it's not as cool or as, Freddy's got the little Michael Jackson hat going on.
It's very bloody. I have to get used to wearing a lot of fake blood all the time.
The fact that it's a scary movie kind of freaked me out because I never watch scary movies. I'm terrified of scary movies.
Freddy!
The choice of Ronnie Yu to direct the film, given the fact that he is not American and that he comes from a very different background than Wes or I, the other people who have done the Friday and Freddy movies, I think it was a really good one. I think we're taking the whole visual sense of this movie to a brand new level.
Okay, let's go. And I go back to the first original Friday 13 and the first original Nightmare. I said, oh, this is the key. So from then on, so I'm so like a samurai, my vision is like a samurai. Okay, this is it. This is the only way to make this movie. Very good, thank you, gentlemen. Break. We all think alike.
Ronnie sees the whole story almost like a great comic book, like a Batman versus Superman. A great comic book, with that classic graphic illustration storyboard sense to it. So it's like flipping the pages of some great giant coffee table comic that you've never seen before, where they've combined these two arch villains.
I never have proper cinema school training. When I was little, I read a lot of comic books. Everything for me is visual. It's like painting. It's like photograph and all that, So it's like every time when I see a scene, I see pictures, I see color, I see all that, So when I start a movie, I like to draw.
Right.
Isn't it?
Fire.
Okay?
supporting this. And then we have a side shot.
And he just has these very interesting ways of shooting things, and a lot of things are in slow motion. He does so many little camera tricks and so many little things that, like, I'm kind of only half aware of while we're shooting them.
He brings a whole nother layer to this thing of, with his Hong Kong Chinese film background. I think folks are going to be in for a surprise on this one. He's added a whole new flavor to the look, the style, even the acting.
I just want to make sure that there's enough blood there to satisfy the horror audience.
Every scene is so intricate, there's so many angles to cover, and since there's so many characters in the script and just this huge ensemble cast, you gotta cover everything, you gotta get everybody's reactions to everything, so it's, you know, around the clock working.
It's all playtime for me. I mean, you know, it's such a change because my background is with stunt work.
It's just been a tremendous blessing to have a guy with that much head knowledge who knows when he comes smashing through a wall, he knows what to expect. He's ready for it, and he's happy to be doing it. He's having a blast.
I did my own water stuff in this, and you know, some of the fight stuff, but you know, when you see Freddy flying to the air, hitting a wall, or flying through the sky and landing in Crystal Lake on fire, and things like that, you know, believe me, it's not me.
We have done firework. We had Jason fully engulfed in flames over a 3-day period.
And here I'm burning. And you can see right here, I'm burning. And here I'm on fire.
The wire work has just been phenomenal. I mean, we have sent these guys flying in every conceivable direction. We've had them flying into objects through walls, upstairs, downstairs. I mean, it's just, you name it, we've done it.
I directed a very different kind of movie 120 years ago, or whatever it was, and that was a very sort of minimalist, tiniest little story that we could do, and now we have a full-blown studio picture with all of the bells and whistles and all of the things that make a major action picture.
And that's what Freddy vs. Jason is. It starts and it never stops. It's just go, 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 go all the time.
There's new things revealed. There's the action is bigger and better than any of the other movies, and it's definitely going to be a thrill ride for the fans. They're really going to enjoy it.
People just love the fact that they're two of the worst villains in horror history ever, and the fact that they're gonna square off.
Place your bets! It's like the clash of the titans, and you know, someone's gotta win. They each have this following. It's like the Ultimate Warrior versus Hulk Hogan.
It's like a really awesome action movie at the same time as being a cult flick horror movie.
Lots of blood, lots of fears, lots of screams.
Freddy and Jason are pop horror icons. They've been around our culture for almost 20 years, and each of them has become a symbol of all those things that collectively we as teenagers and then as adults are afraid of, so that they are the sum total of our current pop boogeymen.
Freddy owns Jason. Freddy rides around on Jason. Maybe Freddy beats Jason to a pulp. I know what my fans want, and I know what they're going to get. And that is they're going to see the #1 monster of all time. As for his fans, I don't know, what, 10, 11 of them? The hell with them. I'll tell you though, I'd rather wrestle this guy again than have to get in the ring with little Chucky the Puppet Boy or Mike Myers. What is that, Mike? Is he a mime? I've never figured that out.
Well, hey, Jethro! This is a rave, not a Halloween party!
Freddy vs. Jason. Evil has 2 names, but only 1 sound, and this is it. The original motion picture soundtrack to Freddy vs. Jason, featuring Il Niño's How Can I Live? 20 tracks with rare and unreleased music from Slipknot, Mushroomhead, Seven Dust, Towerman 5000, Stone Sour, and more. Pick up the album with 3 collectible covers in stores now.
Freddy vs. Jason, the original motion picture soundtrack, was released on August 12th, 2003 by Roadrunner Records. Freddy vs. Jason, the original music picture score by Graham Revell, was released on August 19th, 2003.
The only thing to fear is fear himself.
Prepare for the ultimate battle. Freddy vs. Jason on DVD.
Welcome to my nightmare.
With 8 deleted scenes, an alternate ending, and exclusive footage. Freddy vs. Jason on DVD. Tuesday, January 13th.
The film was released on VHS and DVD as part of New Line's Platinum series on January 13th, 2004.
For generations, they have been the 2 biggest names in terror. Now, for the first time ever on DVD, 2 legends will come together. Winner kills all. Freddy vs. Jason on New Line Platinum Series DVD. Tuesday, January 13th.
Why don't you go find yourself a pig to fuck?